school sports in the Cape Atlantic League. High school football so far this season as Ocean City goes on the road and knocks off Egg Harbor Township last night as the Red Raiders pick up their first win of the season. You heard it right here on 97.3 ESPN FM. We welcome in right now Red Raiders head coach Kevin Smith. Coach, got to feel good to get the monkey off your back.
Hey, Mike. Yeah, absolutely. It's easier to go into the weight room on Saturday morning after you win, for sure.
Let's back up a little bit. You guys played some close games to start the season. I think you opened against Absegami and then Vineland on the road, and I know that was an overtime game. And I know you had to feel like your team had chances to win both of those games. How frustrating was it after those two games to be sitting there 0-2?
It was a situation where we just I just felt like we weren't ready to win those games in terms of our maturity. Even the Mainland game, the third game, which we led at halftime, it was a combination of giving up big plays that let the opponents back in, or not capitalizing on opportunities we had that might have been able to put the game away. And maybe if you change 5 or 6 plays in those first 3 games, we're 3-0. But that's all about maturity. Like last year, our challenge was to see if we could play in this bigger league, and I think we felt that we could. And then this year the challenge was not just to compete but to win. I just felt like in those first couple games we just weren't sure if we could do that. And last night, you get over the hump, and now maybe we'll have some confidence to be able to move from there.
I certainly want to get into the win last night, but let's still back up a little more. And the big loss against St. Augustine on the road last Thursday night, I think it was. And, Hermits jump all over you guys from the start, and it has to be a little bbit demoralizing there. So the fact that your team responds from a blowout loss to a hard-fought victory on the road, what does that say about your guys?
Well, the prep game actually gave us a great opportunity to kind of reboot everything. We gave them 3 days off because we played on a Thursday. We usually, we'll get in on Saturday and lift. We just said, let's go away for a couple of days. And then I said, listen, man, you guys have a great opportunity in front of you to respond to adversity. You don't learn much in life when things are easy. And, now there was a challenge. We got it handed to us by a really good football team. And, we talked to them a lot, just not even about football stuff, just about life stuff. You're going to get your butt kicked financially, relationship-wise, career-wise, whatever. There's going to be challenges. And then how will you respond? And that was just sort of our theme for the week. And, hey, I couldn't be any happier with the response.
19-7, the final last night as Ocean City knocks off Egg Harbor Township. Checking in right now with Red Raiders head coach Kevin Smith. So, Coach, you guys built that big first-half lead last night, and the passing game really clicking for you. I don't know if you caught EHT off guard, or people that have seen you play know that you guys like to throw the ball around a little more than some other teams in South Jersey. But what was working so well in that passing game last night? I know a big touchdown pass to Garrett Jones early on, another one to Bumgarner later. But what was clicking in that passing game?
Well, the first touchdown was set up by a great play by our defensive end, Joe Wakowiak. He picked off a screen pass and ran it back to around EHT's 30. And, that just felt like a momentum moment, and they were playing their safeties on our first series. Their safeties were crowding the box playing the run, and we thought we could get over the top on a post route, and we hit it. And that obviously helped with the momentum. And then later in the game, we got to the short side of the field and we had a good chance to run a wheel route to Bumgarner down the sideline, and we hit that. So, they just gave us some things that we thought, maybe we could take advantage of, and we executed it. And, you don't draw it up all you want, but if the kids don't execute it, it doesn't really matter. So, it was great to be able to capitalize on some of the things that we felt we could.
You alluded to it there, but defense playing really well last night. I think you guys had, 4 or 5, maybe 6 takeaways, including a couple big late in the second half. I mean, that defense really stepped up. The offensive guys, they're the ones that get the names in the paper usually, but it's that defense that really sealed the win for you last night.
Yeah, they played great. And, the key with the defense last night was we tackled. I mean, against the prep, they did a great job in a 5-wide package throwing the underneath stuff. They're throwing hitches and, just little crossing routes and seam routes. But we weren't tackling, so they were turning 6-yard completions into 50-yard gains. And we just preached all week long, just run into the ball, wrapping up, tackling, and we did that. EHT has some good athletes, and they busted off some 20 and 25-yard runs, but the key was we got them down, and then later in the drive we were able to stop them. Against the Prep, those 20 and 25-yard runs ended up, going all the way to the end zone. So that was a huge difference.
I want to talk about Bumgarner a little bit, and he's a D1 guy heading to Virginia next year. And what has it meant for a kid like that to sort of stay within the public school program? I believe he didn't start with you, correct me if I'm wrong, but the fact that he's there now, and we see so many of these top-level high school players maybe sort of move on to some non-public schools and try to get more attention there. But here's a kid that sort of stays home, takes his lump with you guys as some of the seasons have gone under 500, but a leader for you and a kid who's going to get a chance to play at a big-time school next year.
Yeah, I thought last night was his best game, maybe of his career. I mean, he just, in the mid-first to second quarter, he just kind of took the football game over on both sides of the ball. I mean, he was a force on defense last night. He's long and strong, and he gets great extension. And, they could not run up the middle last night. He and Joe and Jack Sturley were just tremendous inside. And Christian probably doesn't want to hear this, but, I think he's it projects on the next level tremendously on the defensive line. He wants to play tight end, obviously. But, you want to rally around your best kid. Like when your best kid is playing well, it kind of picks everybody up. And he did that last night, and he's fought through some adversity. It hasn't always been a smooth ride for him. He's grown up a lot in the last couple of years, and I think I'm really impressed with and proud of about him is he's going to graduate early. He's going to graduate in December and head down to Virginia then so he can get a head start in their program. He's doing a good job in the classroom too.
Christian Bumgarner going to play for the Virginia Cavaliers next season. Talking with Kevin Smith right now, head coach of the Ocean City Red Raiders. Ocean City, first win of the season last night. It comes on the road 19-7 over Egg Harbor Township. So, Coach, you and your staff can talk to these kids, all you want about sort of picking yourself up. But to get this win, what did it look like in these kids' eyes after that victory last night? A sense of relief, a sense of pride, because you know how much hard work goes into this thing throughout the summer, and just to take those losses, it's got to feel like a huge weight off your shoulders, and really the kids' shoulders, walking off that field with a victory.
Yeah, it's all of those things, man. So the coaches after the game were saying, like, oh, man, your life is so different after you win a game. it just kind of like validates what you're doing, But the thing too was we talked to our kids about, like, we had 3 themes for the night last night, and one of them was just like, do your job, man. Don't worry about anybody else's job. Trust your teammate to do his, and the other one was on about tackling and running to the football and defense. But the third one was like, you gotta have fun, man. It's crazy how much time we spend. Everybody in the league, all the teams spend, and how much we invest in playing high school football between the weight room and the summer program and all the practice we put in, and then you only get 10 games, and it's almost insane when you really think about it. And I said to these guys, man, what are we doing it for if we're not having fun? And it was funny because last night there was a couple times, like when there was a timeout or there was a dead ball, and I looked out at our huddle and our guys were like laughing, and at one point, like, they were dancing on the field, and I just thought, you know what, man, if they can play up to their potential, but enjoy themselves and enjoy the time that they're spending with one another, then we're doing it right. Because otherwise, if it becomes a job and if it becomes labor at this level when you're 16 years old, I feel you're missing the point.
That is refreshing, Kevin. Refreshing, I should say. Is there not enough of that, in this area? Are teams not having enough fun? You see so many of these coaches, on the verge of a breakdown on the sideline in terms of screaming and yelling, and their hearts are in the right place, but it sort of comes off as not the most comfortable situation always for a team. Is there not enough fun really at the high school level these days? Are teams almost taking it too seriously sometimes?
I don't know. I don't want to speak for anybody else, and I certainly have my moments on the sideline as well, but I just know that the way that we've now changed the rules in New Jersey, where the summer is for the most part pretty much open for all teams to practice, has created a tremendous amount of pressure to go all summer long, and it just, I don't know. I'm torn between how much we want to compete with the other schools in terms of everything that they're doing versus understanding that these are 16-year-old kids, and they want to go to the beach, they want to hang out with their friends. You want to let them have a life outside of, our sport. Sometimes the coaches are way more invested in it than the kids are. So, winning is awesome. We all want to win every opportunity that we have. But, keeping a perspective on this is important, too. So, I don't know, man. We're really trying to find that balance. It can be challenging at times.
Ocean City, of course, I think when you break it down, probably the smallest school in the Cape Atlantic League American Conference, and this is year number 2 of that Cal scheduling cycle. And, it struck me, Kevin, that you never really use that as an excuse. It'd be easy to say, hey, these are games that we're not supposed to win. We're playing non-public schools. We're playing, bigger Group 4s, bigger Group 5s. You guys really, you never allow that to sink in. How have you stood there and not used that as an excuse? Because from the outside looking in, it is so easy to say, hey, Ocean City maybe having a rough season. They are the smallest school. That's kind of where they're supposed to be. But you guys never sort of look at it like that.
Well, we weren't thrilled with it when the verdict came down, but then it just presented a challenge to you. It doesn't make a lot of sense to complain about what should be. You just kind of have to deal with what is. And so, we kind of got together as a staff and we said, all right, what's our plan? How are we going to attack, this schedule? And so we just, dedicated ourselves to getting better in the weight room and trying to challenge ourselves. And then more than anything else was just like convincing the kids that they could handle the schedule. And, last year we took our lumps for sure, but it wasn't like we felt like we were over our heads. And this year, hey, we're, outside of the prep. There's a couple of schools that I just don't think that we're on their level yet, but everybody else I think we're right there with. And, like we said, it's confidence, man. They're kids and they need to know that they can do something. They don't know that they can do it until they do it. And so once they begin to gain that confidence, you can really feel something building. And the other thing is, I know we're 1-4 right now, but we got 2 Group 5s the next 2 weeks. We win those 2 football games with all the power points. We're right in the thick of it in the Group 3 playoffs. So that's something that we're motivated by as well.
Again, Ocean City, a big win on the road last night, 19-7 over Egg Harbor Township as the Red Raiders pick up their first victory of the season. Head coach Kevin Smith, thanks for taking the time. Good luck to you and your guys the rest of the way, and we'll try and catch up later in the season.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
All right, you got it. Again, Ocean City, 19-7 there, and I guess what a lot of people consider an upset. EHT comes in just with 1 loss on the season. It came last week, in fact, so the Silver Eagles, a lot of people thinking would certainly be motivated, and they probably were, but Ocean City just much stronger in the first half, and they're able to carry it out to a 19-7 victory over Egg Harbor Township.